The Golden State Warriors are preparing for next season. This season's been a wash for them. Whenever we've had Stephen Curry out for around 2 to 3 months, you had Klay Thompson who was out. It was a Game 6 of the 2019 Finals. He didn't play a single game this season. And then Draymond Green had a few various injuries on the team. And everything's been back and forth. We had Sean Livingston retire. We had Andre Iguodala. He was traded away, which later he joined the Miami Heat in free agency. You had different moves within the Warriors. They no longer had their role players. You had Kevin Durant leaving free agency. Same thing as DeMarcus Cousins. So this team had to reshape itself. There was injuries. They knew this season was a wash. We were watching the Golden State Warriors this season as myself. They did perform like a G League team. There was a bunch of no names, and that resulted so far in the record of 15-50 for the team. They took in a lot of L's. This is something to where they were nationally televised for a lot of games, because the TV deals and the different ratings and schedules were preparing them to be pretty elite still with Steph Curry and D'Lo and the crew. That's no longer the case. D'Angelo Russell was traded away. The good thing with the Warriors is they went to 5 straight NBA Finals. This actually gives them as an excuse of a season to where they can just chill out. All their star players can get rest. Even though some of them have been injured, they can get more rest mentally than physically. They'll prepare for that, prepare for new challenges, more of a relapse state of mind. I think this is actually very beneficial for the Warriors. Kind of like when Michael Jordan won 3 straight finals, then he retired for a year and a half. That was good for him physically, a little bit mentally. He had personal issues, but in a winning state of mind, that's going to rejuvenate a player to where they can get remotivated. They have a bunch of rest, and then as well as they'll be motivated to jump back into the next season. I expect that for the Warriors in 2021. So far this is how their team's looking right now. I know there's going to be a lot of changes they'll make to tweak the roster and then the offseason. But so far you have Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson. These are the Splash Brothers. They're going to be the foundation still with Draymond Green. They did trade for Andrew Wiggins, part of that D'Lo trade. I'm curious how the Warriors are going to actually, if they're going to keep Wiggins for a year or maybe the rest of the season and then trade him away, try to get a trade package. The Warriors have different scenarios. I know they're eyeing for the 2021 free agency class of Giannis Antetokounmpo, and there's a couple of other star players there. I know that's the main one that they have their eye on. For this free agency class of 2020, it's not a good class at all. You're only going to have Anthony Davis premiering as a star free agent, then other kind of starters and stars as well as you'll have LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, and then like a DeMarcus Cousins as kind of like a role player type starter, and then kind of like other cats like that. But so far, we have this as a starting 5. This team still needs some work and makeup, especially for their bench, because back in the past, they've always had great veterans and even some young cats like Kevin Looney, Ian Clark during the time. You had Quinn Cook. They'll bring in Alfonso McKenzie, guys like that who would step onto the role when they were young. But then you had veterans come out their bench like Andre Iguodala from time to time. They had David Lee. What other veterans? They had Sean Livingston, Leonardo Barbosa. But then now in this day and age, we see right now we have Eric Marshall, a couple of young cats here, some of them from the G League, and this is something to where they need to get rid of all that altogether. So this is something, they're 15-50. They've already been eliminated from the NBA playoffs, as well as eliminated to not even return for the regular season because the NBA is calling in for the last 22 teams. But then again, Steve Kerr, he had to work with a bunch of no names. Didn't make any sense. So I think this is a plus for the Warriors. Now entering the next season, they can go different routes. I expect them to actually keep Andrew Wiggins, and they'll probably have a top 3, top 5 lottery pick. So they can go for a big man like James Wiseman. I doubt they would ever go for a guard like LaMelo Ball, like whenever they went with D'Lo and they moved him at the 2. They're going to go for a big man. I think they'll probably go with James Wiseman. Again, I expect them to go for Giannis Antetokounmpo, a big name in that 2021 free agency class. So I expect in 2021 a starting lineup of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins at the 3, Draymond Green at the 4, James Wiseman at the 5. It's a formidable big 5, or not a big 5. It's a formidable starting 5. Very similar to 2015, 2016, how they normally played. Andrew Wiggins is going to have to take on more of a Harrison Barnes type of role when he's starting. Now, whenever he plays on the second unit, he can be able to, go off on his own offensive journey to lead the team in scoring whenever he's playing with the second unit from time to time. But this team is still going to be dominant. I expect the Warriors to be a top 3 team in the Western Conference, no doubt about it. You're still going to have the Lakers and the Clippers and the Warriors fighting for those top 3 as the tier 1s. The tier 2s are going to be the Rockets, the Jazz, the Nuggets. I feel like I'm forgetting a team in there. But then tier 3s, you're going to have like the Grizzlies, the Thunder, depending on if they blow it up, retool, who knows. And then maybe the Phoenix Suns. I feel like I'm forgetting a team or two in there. The Blazers, maybe, because I don't know if they're going to rebuild or retool. But you still have those 3 different tiers. The Warriors will still be in that tier 1, which will be great for them. They're still going to keep Steve Kerr, of course. He's going to be there for another 5 to 6 years, depending on when those guys retire. High expectations, though. I know a lot of cats were saying Kevin Durant was the main reason they're winning the chips. That's far from the truth. The core has always been there. I've always had great faith in the Warriors. Even when Kevin Durant was hurt last season in 2019, the Warriors still made the finals. They were still favorites to win, but Klay was hurt. So, and plus they have had extra rest this offseason. I expect them for this following season in 2021, top 3 seed team in the Western Conference. I expect them to get bounced in either the second round or the conference finals. If they're going to get bounced in the second round, it'll probably be against either the Lakers or Clippers. And then same thing if they were to be bounced in the conference finals. I don't expect them to get to the finals next season. But I do have expectations for them to get to at least one more NBA Finals. I think they could probably get to at least 2 more. They're going to win another championship in the next 3 to 4 seasons. But then again, so we had 2019. It was a wash because of injuries and different free agency moves and retirements. 2021, this is something they're going to keep their normal team with Wiggins, James Wiseman, a bunch of veterans on the role players on that side. I think they'll get a top 3 seed team in the West again, lose in second, third round. 2022, that's when I expect them to really have a great chance to get to the finals once again. I think within that time period, they're going to trade away Wiggins and Wiseman, probably for another star player. Either a center or a small forward, so they'll go, balls to the wall for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think, honestly, for me, I would actually go for Nurkic. I know Nurkic, he's pretty much untouchable on the Nuggets, but if they've had for these next season or two, if they've had failing seasons in the playoffs and they're really not getting anywhere, I would actually throw in my picks, young guys, and try to go for Nurkic. That's just me, honestly. I think he'll be a great fit for the Golden State Warriors. But I'm actually going to make a next video following this to where I'm actually going to retool the Warriors of how I kind of foresee things on my take as a GM. But overall, I think with Steph Curry, the Warriors in their career and down the road, they're still going to have that dynasty feel to themselves, like in 2015. They'll have a couple of times to where they'll get to the conference finals, maybe a finals or 2 appearance. I expect them to win at least one more championship whenever Steph, Klay, and Dre, they all retire. But they have great upper management. They're in great hands. They still have Steph's kingdom, which is very effective on their offensive system. It's not going anywhere. But hey, let's see what happens. What do you guys think on that?